So you're saying they should have done that before releasing all this information?
Yeah, sure.
So this is what, after your interview this morning, they said, Tavis Smiley needs to get his story straight. First, today on Good Morning America, Mr. Smiley acknowledged he had had multiple sexual encounters with his employees, then struggled to recall the number of current employees with whom he had had sex. This contradicts his Facebook post from last week, where he cited only one previous relationship with an employee. I'm going to stop there, and then we'll put it back up. You want to? Yeah. What do you say to that?
I don't know what interview they were watching. Number one, I didn't disconnect anything. What I said in my statement was that if having a consensual relationship with a colleague, I didn't say one colleague, I said a colleague. I'm talking about a colleague, a coworker. So I never said one, number one. So I didn't change my story this morning on Good Morning America. I told the truth this morning, and I told the truth in my statement, number one. What else do you have that you want?
How many colleagues have you had consensual?
500 pairs.
Question conflates consensual relationships with sexual assault, sexual harassment, and sexual misconduct. That's not the right question, quite frankly.
Stay in your lane.
Because that very question conflates a consensual relationship with sexual harassment or sexual assault, and those two things don't.
I understand that, but we can talk about that. But that doesn't mean that if I've had a consensual relationship with someone in the workplace, wouldn't I know?
No.
Say another motherfucking word, and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga.
In my entire life, I've only had consensual relationships, and most of them, over 30 years of working in this industry, most of them clearly were not in the workplace. So we're talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, what a day. What a motherfucking day.
So if a woman is, even though you say it's consensual, but a woman may feel obliged to go along with it because she's concerned about her employment. That's how most people would read that.
Here again, this is PBS's rhetoric. So today, we go back to the beginning of this conversation. Today, they finally agreed to talk to the persons who could have addressed those issues had they raised these questions with those persons. My point.
Deal with this diabolical bitch.
Question for me is that why are you making these statements to the press? Why are you talking to the press and not my attorneys? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they know how to contact my attorneys, but they keep making these comments in the press rather than talking to my attorneys.
Me and you got to step out back.
Hey, it was just a misunderstanding.
No, it ain't. It ain't no misunderstanding. Quick just accused me of stealing. And if you're gonna take up for Quick in here, we can all be some fighting motherfuckers in here this evening. Bring your ass, nigga. Bring it on. Come on. Bring your ass. Come on, get up and come on, motherfucker.
In my company, we have a policy that does not encourage office relationships, but it doesn't forbid them. Because again, I don't want to tell people who they should hang out with, who they should fall in love with. And there's so many relationships in this country that were started in the workplace. Henry Kissinger met his wife in the workplace. Bill Gates met his wife in the workplace. We all know Barack Obama met Michelle Obama in the workplace. So my point is that relationships can start in the workplace. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. But let's not act like we don't live in a society where people work and meet each other all the time, and sometimes things jump off.
So you whatever you want.
Grab him by the pussy.
You think that everything is being conflated, a consensual relationship and someone who is abusive in the relationship, from Harvey Weinstein to the person who met his wife. You think they're all being lumped in one category?
That's what they've attempted to do with me. I am not Harvey Weinstein. And I don't know all the particulars of his case. I don't want to prejudge him. What I'm suggesting to you is that I, again, have never groped, coerced, exposed myself to anyone. The sin that I've committed, the great sin, is to have over 30 years a handful of consensual relationships. And
you know whose fault it is, don't you? It is the fault of the wang. I should cut this thing off.
You're not gonna cut it off.
I know. That's the craziest thing I've ever thought of. So how about I come over there and go to town on your money and on your ass?